Preshift. We're recording a video as well, so if you guys will hold your questions as well, but to everybody, even you who are watching the video, when you're watching the video, go ahead and just write down anything that we're talking about that you're like, that doesn't make sense, or I don't quite get it, or I need to talk to you and find out more information. And then that way, that lets Brooke and I know if you need a little bit more to help you really get it. Otherwise, we're assuming everyone's got it. So some of this you may already be familiar with, but we're going to go through it again. Just to review some things in Slack announcements, that there's a new floor plan. So go out and check it out. I went and did it, and it helped me kind of understand some new things. It also helped me make some notes. Like for me, when I'm thinking about if someone has a really special event and they're like, it's my honeymoon, it's really important, and you're like, I could just put them on any table, but I also could assign them to a good table. And so I put like blue for sad and like pink for awesome. And I also thought about like intimate tables are over here, but the main thing is that they just changed some numbers. So it's always good to get refreshed on the number arrangements, so that if someone says, go out there right now, take a layout to 607, you know exactly where to go. And also, you know, they keep making improvements to the dining room, and they keep adding plants in different places or dividers. And so I just went and checked that out as well, and I made little notes for me that help me remember, so that I can just do a better job if I need to assist with table assigning. And then the other thing they did is they took some tables from over here and they put them in the lounge. And so I also helped me understand the flow of the numbering system. So if I do get sent out, I know the number starts with 1 over here and it goes all the way and curls around. And then the bar kind of curls the opposite direction. So go out there, get familiar with it, make notes if you need to. If it's in your head, that's great. Also, any menu repairs that are coming back our way, essentially, you know, when we were building the menus, the first two sections have the adhered tabs. It's not an individual divider. So those ones are going to come to me for now, and I'll be the one doing those repairs, or I'll be enlisting your help. So the reason I'm saying this is if a host walks in and says, I don't know, what should I do? You know exactly what to do. If it's for those pages, you can go ahead and put it on my desk. The retail shop is live. So you probably saw in Slack Brittany's post about the protocol on the retail Slack channel. One thing that she noted is that, like, you know how on our kind of protocol is like green check is I'm on it, I've started on it, black check mark is done. In the shipping channel, it's a little different, and she noted that. The eyes is like, I'm starting on it. And then, here's a copy for you right there. And then the box is that it's been shipped. But I'm gonna be your lead, but we're gonna talk about that more. I just wanted to recall if you've seen that announcement on Slack that she made. So I'm gonna be the lead on packing, and Lauren is also gonna be a go-to on questions regarding packing, because we're kind of developing this as we go. We're going to be releasing today a little first edition guide about packing things as individual items. Now what's going to happen is the items aren't always going to be like, I ordered 1 coconut oil. They're going to order a little something of everything, so we're going to have to grow with that and understand that. But we have a basic setup that if they ordered 1 of the item and it's glass and it's filled with fluid, it's going to get shipped correctly, and it's not going to break, and it's going to be the most affordable shipping option. Did you want to jump in? Okay. So those are just some Slack announcements that I noticed that we need to retouch on. Let's talk about the shared workspace. So first thing that you might notice is that there's a little rearrangement. So this little map is my drawing that tells you this is the entrance to the shop, and then this is our shared workspace. So now the Calm Desk number is related to the last number of the extension, and they've been a little rearranged too. So the extension, the last number, like 233, is Calm Desk number 3, 234 is Calm Desk 4, and so on. And then also you can see it goes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's a little something going on there in a nice flow. And then Brooke's now 04. So when you look on Humanity, you're gonna see that your assignment, like your desk you're gonna be working at, is Calm Desk 7, meaning Calm Desk with the extension of 237. But that is in the master verbiage. I just wanted to remind you that this sheet is in the master verbiage, and that tells you about the extensions. It kind of reviews what we're talking about and the location of the comm desk.
And that the goal of this is that you just memorize the extensions, so then you don't have to say, what extension are you at?
Another cool thing that Randy shared with me is that this room is extension 500. So from now on, when you put on the comm form the extension to be reached at, you don't need to put an individual one. You just put extension 500 and the whole thing's gonna light up. And so it's really great in general, like if you need to let the host know, call me back, just extension 500, then someone on our team is gonna be able to respond and answer. Now, of course, if you are like individually right now just communicating on something special and you're at that phone, go ahead and you can use that exact extension if you want to. But it's better if we have a big net to catch any calls that are coming in. Extension 500 is that big net. So this, what we're talking about, this map and everything, this nice document is in the master verbiage doc if you want to refer to it, print it, take notes, anything like that. Also about this shared workspace is caring for the area. So one thing that I noticed this morning and the couple mornings when I'm coming in is that the tech is not being charged overnight. So a lot of these keyboards are rechargeable and they need to be plugged in. And Ariel was kind enough to organize and make sure there's plenty of charging cords, and they are here. So there's no reason that we can't charge them. So when you leave at night, you have to make sure that if I have an iPad, it's plugged in. Does my keyboard have a charging card? And that means it's in the front here. Yes, charge that. And then the mouse gets charged in the back as well. Of course, if you have a mouse that isn't rechargeable, that doesn't apply to that. So it's just kind of doing like a quick look over of my work area. Have I checked all of those things and plugged them all in? And then your iPad should be plugged in all the time. Also, these two computers, it really needs to be understood that they're on Ethernet. So the internet that they're using is plugged in and it's hardlined. Now, if you have the Wi-Fi turned on, you're gonna have conflicting information. And so the computer's going, do I go to the Wi-Fi, do I go to the internet, the Ethernet? Turn off the Wi-Fi. It should be off. If you don't know how to turn off the Wi-Fi or turn it on, come see me and I'll show you. Once I've shown you, I'll assume that you've got it and you know how to do it. The only time you're using Wi-Fi on these two computers is if you're airdropping. So if we're working on a project and we're doing a quick airdrop of information, that's when you're going to turn on the Wi-Fi for your computer. Also about this shared workspace is the cleanliness. So it's not just the desktop itself, but also the space around it. So the desktop today had like tons of built up scum in the area. It literally was like funky film. And then once I got into it, the whole thing had like quite a bit of stuff around it. So just the daily end of day general professional etiquette, especially when you're in a shared workspace, is to clean it down. Especially when we've got sick people. So if you're a sick individual, then please make that extra step to wipe things down. But it's something that applies to all of us when we're healthy as well. And then, so not just the desktop, but also around the office, the daily things that are part of our routine, like taking out the cardboard, doing the dishes, those are daily duties. And you know, we always get overwhelmed, but we have the tool of communication, verbal communication to each other, to be like, Angel, I know you and I are super slammed today, but let's figure out who's gonna take out the cardboard and who's gonna do the dishes. Game plan, go. And then we can just knock it out. And so all this around the office and daily stuff also kind of leads to the projects being tended to. So not just cardboard and trash, but then also things like this. This is a really good example of what is going on. It's a little bit out of hand that things are just kind of getting dumped, but I get that the office is changing, the office is growing, there's new forms of organization, there's new things happening, so let's tap on that thing that we have communication about asking. So for example, the chipped glasses, we gotta talk about it. So one thing, what happened today when I saw this, I was like, well, Amanda, then what do we do with chipped glasses? And she said, well, Lauren has to reach out to the distributor and get it returned. So that can be a sticky note thing, that can go in Lauren's project, that can be in your end of shift report. Lauren put chipped glass in your box to reach out to the vendor, and then the unchipped one could go back with the retail. So I'm learning too, but if I didn't communicate to Amanda, then I wouldn't have learned, and then this happens. So let's work together on trying to get the answers. I might not have all the answers, and we'll reach out to Amanda. And that's another thing, like if Amanda's assigned you a project, then she's gonna be your go-to to ask questions about that project. So if you're finding trouble wrapping it up and finishing it through, get back to the person who worked on it with you.
And so let's just touch on the protocol that we've learned before is the sticky note process for unfinished projects. So for example, like this is a project that we ran into where we needed Rick's assistance. So like we put the maintenance request in, put a sticky note on here of what needs to be happening to each of these items, and we have them here, so it's just very clear like that's what that is. But like some of these things were just out without a sticky note, so then all of us are just wondering what is the process for that. Like here, this is an example, like waiting for keyboard delivery, then Amanda will install with Sadie. So it's like everyone kind of knows like, okay, I get what's going on with that. And it just obviously, since our office is getting you know, more and more full with people and with things, then it's really important for us to kind of try to keep that organized so we don't feel like it's like closing in on us.
So leftover projects should kind of fall into two categories. Either it's ones that we've put out to do, and there's a sticky note on it that says, help someone do this, or there's ones that you didn't get to complete and your sticky notes on it saying what you didn't finish. So then there's that gray area of just things left around, and it's kind of like if everything doesn't have a name or a sticky note, then who knows? So either if Amanda and I have put out projects on here that's like, hey, someone like Errol, that was awesome. I put out the package of glasses the other day, and I said, anyone, project to do, pack up these glasses. We didn't even have to talk. She just walked up and started finishing the task, and then it was done. So let's get back on board, and also just remember that like sticky notes fall off. So if it's really important or if it's hanging, tape it on. All right, that's enough about projects. Let's talk about phone inquiries. Sunflowers. So we are getting a lot of calls about sunflowers. We're getting a lot of people showing up at the kiosk asking about it. And Amanda came up with a really great description of what we can say. So the sunflowers are actually grown for edible and cosmetic purposes. These are fields of functional crop, and then throughout the year we also have a few small show crops that are accessible to the public. So none of the show crops are blooming now, but what is blooming at the moment is the functional field, and it's not open to visitors. But check back with our social media accounts to find out when the show fields are blooming. And then just for your information, okay, so the last part about the sunflowers is that just for your information, that if a caller mentions, yeah, but the Google pin sends us here to see the sunflowers, because we've actually set a Google pin for here, and that's because the pin is to our show crop, so that we're not directing people to the place we just told them not to go. Okay. Then another thing that we need to review is the inappropriate phone calls protocol. So that is in the master verbiage. If you need to refer to it, let's just review it. If you receive an inappropriate phone call, you need to follow this protocol. So don't engage, don't make a comment, don't ask questions, just hang up. Then immediately notate the exact time that it's happening, so just look at your phone, the date, the extension of phone that you're at, what exactly was said by the caller, And then if the caller ID happened to show any info, then you would write that down. If it says private, then it says private. And then you appropriately share this notated information. You send a group text to MTP Security and Frank of the notated information with your name and your location. And then you can post that notated information to the security Slack channel to log it, because we talked about how that channel is for logging things. And then you can let your MOD know. So that's going to be something that the host will be doing as well. You want to loop in your manager so they know what's going on. If the caller calls back, you are going to respond with, this call is being recorded and pending an investigation. Security has been notified and will be investigating. Hang up. And then repeat your security notification procedure. So that's group texting MTP Security on site and Frank, letting them know this latest updated detail, and then posting it to the security Slack channel to log it, and then letting your MOD, your manager, know. Is that the end of that? Also, just if you don't feel safe, if it's giving you an unsafe feeling, you can call MTP Security on site immediately and say, please come to me. If they don't answer, don't panic. Just feel free to call them, because if you just text them, it might be in their pocket, they might be helping someone, it might be loud. Just go ahead and call them. But we have resources here if there's ever a time that you don't feel comfortable. And this is in the master verbiage. It talks about what we just said the steps are. It also has the phone numbers and the bulleted out points of what you need to remember to notate immediately.
We talk sometimes when we talk about like the menu or being at the kiosk about how knowledge is confidence, because like when someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, you're like, and then that's when you get scared. So knowledge is confidence, and confidence is power. And we want all of you to feel, and you are powerful, beautiful women that work in our office that are very appreciated. And we want you to feel safe and powerful. So this is the knowledge, which is so clearly laid out of what you can do. And then that leads to the confidence, because when you get the phone call, you're just like, I know exactly what to do. It's to hang up that phone. They call back, I know exactly what to say, and I know exactly what to do. And then you feel powerful because you are controlling the situation and you're not letting anybody control your situation. Cool?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, moving on from that topic. So we're hiring in this department.
Woo!
We are looking for full-time and several people.
We're very
Ooh.
excited to see what new team members are going to come our way.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, we
So
are.
if you know someone, that's great. But remember to think about, okay, I know somebody, but think about them and think about our department, because we have a really, really strong, wonderful department that is a beautiful weave of fabric that is really strong and complex and flexible, and it does a lot of great things on this property. So someone that you would imagine would come into that weave of fabric and really strengthen it and add to it. They need to be career oriented and hospitality minded, and they need to be flexible with scheduling, meaning they are flexible, not they need us to be really flexible. So everyone here has really demonstrated that they get that. So when I'm bringing this up, it's because I meet a lot of people out there who have a lot of restrictions, but as you know, we are doing so much work that we really need people to come on board, and we accommodate as much as we can.
And so I think when you're thinking of a candidate, like if you think of that video of the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset that we watched, and just picture that in your head, and like, is this cousin or is this like friend of my friend, like, would they be the guy who's like in the video, or are they like the girl who's like, I'll try the hurdle, who cares if I fall? Like, think about that maybe, and that will, I think, help us think like, yeah, that's like the candidate. They're open to like growth and ready to like embark upon that. As you've all seen, like, it's a growth kind of department.
Yep.
So
All right. So you can send them our way if they've kind of checked all those boxes in your mind and you're like, yep, they would be a really cool contributor to our team. And then remember the protocol when people call back to follow up on jobs. So we're gonna start getting, Brooke is vetting and reading all the resumes, and she's gonna start reaching out, so you're gonna get those callbacks, and then you're gonna get the callbacks from people that we haven't called yet. So remembering that you just follow the protocol of, did they send a resume or apply online, ask them that. Ask them what position they applied to, collect their name and contact info, and let them know you'll pass it on to the hiring manager for that department. And then most importantly, just be friendly and not over-promising, and it'll be a great call. All right, so hopefully you're gonna find some really awesome people to send our way to join in our team. Let's talk about some habits to break or create based on the new protocols. Just a reminder that if we have to do any unloading if you're bringing in supplies that we've asked you to pick up and you want to drive up to the back of our office here, you've got to grab an unloading parking pass, and they're hung outside of Brittany's office, and you just hang it on the mirror like where you hang a handicap thing, so that security and employees know why that vehicle's here, and they will give you some time to unload. Another habit that we need to make sure is broken is the phrase that we're fully committed to reservations. So it has been officially over, so just remember to use "we're booked for reservations at that time requested, but we have availability at," because booked is the more clearer language, and we have so many reservations that we're being very clear.
It's a quick, like the way I always just remember it quickly in my mind is that somebody says, "May I have a reservation at 6 o'clock?" and you say, "We're fully committed to reservations at that time," and then the person says, "Great, I love a company that's fully committed to me. Make my reservation." Like, yes, I want you to be fully committed to all the reservations all day. So it's just like, I remember that in my head and how wrong it can go, and that helps me remember to go right and use that we are fully booked, or we have no available reservations at that time.
That's all I have to say. We're going to hand it over to Brooke, and
real
she's
quick,
got some other things
sorry,
to talk about.
one thing, the Chromebook can go to, so it's right here. It's not out on the desk just so we have that little free workspace with the paper cutter, but it's stored right here with the reservationist binders. This can go to the kiosk and should go to the kiosk if it's going to help you accomplish tasks like Ariel and Kylie have tasks to do out there, and although it can't do pages, it does Google Sheets, Google Docs, Mondays, Open Table, Fair Harbor, general Google searches if you're doing a research project. So it has a lot of capabilities in that way, and is like a little easier to type quickly and see a bigger screen.
And you will have to log it into the Wi-Fi out there, and you can use Millhouse Roasting Co., and in the kiosk finder is the password for that Wi-Fi network. All right, Brooke, you take it away. All right, thanks, Brooke.
Hi. Turning it over to me. Sorry, surprise.
Oh, hey, Amanda.
So last week we rolled out a new menu for the restaurant.
Woo!
A little more labor than we had realized, but it's out and we're excited about it. The protocol for replacements, we used to have the hosts doing the replacing. With this new system of the tabs on the first few pages, we are having the hosts just when they need something, they're filling this out, clipping it, bringing it back to Alexis's desk, and then Alexis will assign out to you if she needs help with this situation. And then I just wanted to go over the changes that were in the menu, because we never got to talk about that. So since sometimes you talk about the menu and stuff like that. So minor things, the root vegetable fritters used to have an Indian spice jam, and now they have a cilantro mint yogurt. I personally like the change. I think that the lime and the acid with the yogurt creamy is like a nice complement to the fritters. We did raise some prices just slightly. It's not something you need to talk about, it's just an awareness. So a few things just went up $1, like the chickpea cakes, the bratwurst, cured fish, roasted eggplant, taro leaf risotto, braised beef pasta. And then we did not change anything about the Kauai prawn pasta except for the execution. They're doing the pasta a little differently, so it's the same ingredients, it's just hopefully gonna lead to better quality and more consistency. But we did change how it's written on the menu. So now it's called Kauai prawn pasta as a standard, it comes with the Kauai prawns. And then if they would like to have it as vegetarian, it drops the price down to $24, and there's a note on the menu that they can make it vegetarian. Then we have braised beef pasta also. So rather than being called hand-cut pasta, it's braised beef pasta, hand-cut noodle. So we have Kauai prawn pasta, house-made angel hair, braised beef pasta, hand-cut noodle. And then the panzered fish changed. So there's no longer the little cob of corn on it. There's the sweet corn puree still, zucchini, cherry tomato, a pickled corn relish, and a saffron oil instead of a saffron butter. So just some minor changes there. We changed the format of the beverages just slightly. A few selections on the daiquiri changed. There's a new cocktail, and it's called What's Up Doc. So it has Blanco tequila, Dr. Lucin Riesling wine, a spiced carrot cordial, lime, and cinnamon. We no longer have star of the show. And then in the wine category, I won't go through the other ones except just the wines by the glass because those are the more common. So we have no longer the Scherer Cabernet, which was our high-end Cabernet. It switched to the Mount Eden Cabernet. And then we no longer have the Riesling by the glass. We have a Pinot Blanc by the glass, which Alexis and myself can attest to is delicious. Okay, then happy hour. We added some food menu items to it. So if you already have your spiel, you might want to take a look at this just so you can correct your spiel. And we divided it out into $10 and $12. And then we switched the $20 bottles of Cava to a Prosecco. Then we have, we won some Ipono awards. Woo! So the Millhouse got Best Business Lunch and Best, Silver Best Cocktails, Silver Best for Special Events, Gold for Best Business Lunch, and
Innovative menu.
no,
Farm to table.
Special
Farm to
events.
Table.
Special
Gold
events.
Best Farm to Table. Thank you.
Woo!
Too many awards to keep track of. But they, those are on Slack under the press and announcements. But what I wanted to show you is that this is the issue of Maui no Kauai. It's behind my desk that lists the dining awards, which is a cool thing to familiarize yourself with because just to be, these last for a year, and I've already heard it in some people's vernacular. Like I heard people talking about it last night at the event we went to, just about who got best whatever, It's just like kind of whatever to be in the know, since we try to be empathetic and help our guests on the phone. So it's like in here, like listed by,
Gold, silver.
that. Okay, Brooke, you're up.
Hi team, I'm going to be talking about Falcon. We are posting some pro tips on Falcon on how to engage. So for the team members who engage in the office, such as Angel, Nikki, Lauren, just a few to name, there'll just be some pro tips and also some pro tips on adding captions to our photo content in the content pool. I know you guys watch those videos, and so it's just a little extra assistance for you. For the girls who do engage on Falcon, what we are doing, as you noticed, Instagram doesn't allow the reply button. So we have uploaded all of our Instagram accounts to this iPad, which will be on my desk. And you're able to actually go on and actually just reply. Click reply, and it'll reply right back to that customer instead of tagging them. Also, let's see. So this will be living on my desk. Now to jump to menus for Haleakala Eco Tours. They usually dine on Wednesdays and they have their prefix menu. I will have an X amount always printed for the host stand, but just in case, safety net, if they do run out, I'm not in on Wednesdays, so where you guys can find it is on Google Drive, Millhouse, Restaurant, Haleakala Eco Tours, and just print the menu. Doesn't need to be changed. And menu paper will be tray number 2, color. Not double-sided or anything, just will be on one sheet. And same with the prefix menus. I know you guys watched that video as well, how they are all loaded on the communications department, Google Drive, and we will click on the menu. For example, this menu for this evening has menu number 2. We will click menu number 2, click File, Duplicate. Once you duplicate it, edit the title and check with the expo for the dessert. You'll save it and we'll delete it every other day. It doesn't need to be saved in the drive, but that way the pre-selected menu options will be the template on the Google Drive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then we also have our holiday summary for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming up quickly and a lot of people are calling in asking if we have any specials that we're running. We are within the restaurant. So this is kind of going through our entree dessert specials. We also have a prefix menu, which will not accommodate any allergies or dietary restrictions, but we're still serving the full food and beverage menu for that day. This information is also posted on the bulletin board, so you guys can go ahead and read that as well.
What's on the bulletin board here is like a pared down version of that. So that's the nitty gritty details. And then, so it's like, that's the awareness and protocols, and then this is the verbiage. And so this you can see is much shorter and just like really to the point.
Yes. We're still getting some more information from our team. For example, how much is the prefix menu? If guests are asking that, just let them know. If you can, please call back within the day or two before Mother's Day, and we will have that information provided for you. All right, and I believe
I want to show a new little duty for engaging on Instagram. So this is something Brooke and I have been doing, but we'd like those people who already have been trained to engage on Falcon, and then those in the future who then get trained to engage on Falcon. We can kind of do this up close so you can show the screen. So you're in Instagram and you click on the small, and you have to use Brooke's iPad to do this. This will be the only iPad that's logged in for these accounts. So then when you go in here, you'll click on the account, and this icon right here shows us photos that we've been tagged in. So one thing that Brooke and I do is we go into each one and take a look at it. We don't engage with every single one. I especially don't when I notice that they're tagging us inaccurately. We don't need to be engaging with that. If it's just like a picture of a Maui sunset and they've tagged, you know, everybody, it's like sometimes I allocate my time wisely. But I definitely, like, this is a great example of a photo I would absolutely engage with. That Farm Home Co. has taken this beautiful picture, and then they've written a caption here for us. So we certainly want to engage with that. It's very important that when you go in, you look down at the comments to see if someone from the Millhouse has already engaged with it. So right here, this has 2 comments. You would click on it and see if we've already made a comment, which here we did. Okay, so then the other thing that's really important to do when you click in here before you engage, so you click on the comments to see if we've already engaged. We've engaged, moving on. If we haven't, click on their account, get a quick feeling for who they are, what they're about, click back out so that your caption or your engagement is more genuine and thoughtful. Particularly be on the lookout for when employees are tagging us, because we want to engage with them in a more genuine way that shows that we're family and we recognize who they are. And then to get in and out of each count, so you go here, let's say you get going back and you get to here and you realize, oh, Amanda and Brooke have already engaged on these. It was just those 6 I needed to do. Now I'm moving on to Maui Chef's Tables, so I click up here onto Millhouse Maui, click Roasting Co. Now I can go through those. Then I go to Maui Tropical Plantation, and I can go through those. So this is something Brooke can go through in more detail with each of you in person too.
Yes, and also just to add to that, Facebook, you'll still be engaging on your computer with Facebook because it allows you to reply quickly to the customer. We will be engaging on Falcon with Instagram on the iPad. It is really important to notate that on Falcon through Engage, you know, it has the check mark. Once you respond to the guest, the check mark will be removed. So you need to make sure that you have both referenced Once you respond to the person on Instagram, you check mark that on engaged, so it does disappear and it's not staying there for the next person to respond to.
Just to wrap up this meeting, I saw this and it reminded me of our team. And so I shared it with the gals, and Amanda was kind enough to print it out, and I just wanted to remind you that we all have these qualities within us, and some we're strengthening and some we're already super strong in. We've got so 5 types of people to surround yourself with, and I also like to think that there are like different dimensions within us as individuals. The inspired, the motivated, the open-minded, passionate, and the grateful. So thanks for being those things in our team and in our lives, and as we look at bringing in new people into our team, hopefully they're reflecting these qualities as well.
Woo!